So we are going to write on to our next speaker, who is no one else than Javnyuy Joybert, a coach and trainer of CEO Coach Dev Group. So I'm going to introduce him. While I'm introducing him, his slides will be put up, and I beg you to listen. Not only listen, but also try to align his own presentation with what we have heard from Mr. Merlin. So we are going to get who Mr. Javnyuy Joybert is. He is also known as, in fact, I think most people know him as Mr. Remarkable. And Mr. Remarkable is a multiple award-winning business and productivity speaker, trainer, and consultant with 9 years of experience in 11 countries and refined skills, who empowers his audience and clients with deep insights, models, solutions, and crafted tools they can apply in their businesses and lives to experience peak performances. His areas of expertise cut across strategy and execution, process creation and implementation, employee essential skills, business startup and expansion, personal and team productivity, digital transformation, the future of work, and organizations of the future. Javnyuy is no one else than the CEO of COSDEV Group Limited, with subsidiary operations in financial services, corporate training and consulting, skills training and recruitment services, technology and investment advisory services. He is also the co-founder and co of AFA Designs, software development firm serving for profit and non-profit enterprises across Africa with innovative technology solutions. He has a lot of books that he has written and published articles, and he's a trailblazer who has spoken in more than 1,500 events and consulted with 5,500 plus medium-sized and corporate institutions. So today, this is another event that he's going to be presenting to add to the 1,500 plus that he has presented on, and he's going to be presenting to us with the title Competencies of a High-Performing Team. So I welcome Mr. Javnyuy Joybert on board. Welcome, sir. Mr. Javnyuy, are you with us?
Yes, please, a moment. Let me set up this presentation.
Okay. While they are setting up the presentation, remember, if you have a question, put in the chat box so that after his presentation, we are going to dive into the Q&A section. Also, a recap, if you should understand that we are in a generation to do what is required and not what is best, as our former speaker told us. So we should keep that in mind.
Joybert, when you're ready with your presentation, just tell us and you could go ahead to share your screen.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. Let me start by apologizing. Please pardon me for the little noise you may hear behind the scenes. I am in a hotel. I am in a hotel lobby. I just arrived and I could not check into my room. I was following Mr. Merlin's presentation while in a cab. Thank you so much, Merlin. It's as if we connected in the spirit and we decided on what to talk about. So it's like you have laid a strong foundation for what I'll be handling, but mostly in a corporate setting kind of thing. Thank you so much, Micah. Thank you. I know the Micah from the MIA Foundation, from the MIA organization. I know there are other leaders, there are other co-founders, and I salute you all, and I want to celebrate you all for for the amazing work. And please, can I think it's Enoch Claudia. Can you mute your mic? There's a lot of noise coming from your part. Perfect. Thank you so much. Good. So I think from the program that you must have seen, I'll be doing a presentation on competencies of a high performing team. Competencies of a high performing team. And in an organization like this, a structured organization like this, one of the most critical things that can make this organization go forward are the people that man this organization. Let me tell you a short story so that it can lay the foundation of what I'll be sharing. I went to South Africa last year to lead a corporate consulting session, one of my clients. And he had an argument with the wife. And so the wife wanted him to increase salaries of staff while he did not want to increase salaries. And the wife gave him a condition that he should withdraw 10 million rand from his account and go keep in the office. And if after 2 weeks, 10 million rand can double to 20 million rand, he should sack all the staff and let the money keep working for itself. You get the sense of the story, right? So there is no company, there is no vision, there are no products, there are no services, there's no impact, there is no transfer of knowledge, whatever you can think about without people. But most importantly, like my brother Melin was talking about, productive people, a high performing group of people that can eventually lead to the success of that organization. So please, can you stop sharing your screen? Somebody sharing the screen so that I can share mine. Excellent. So that is why, from my experience of doing corporate training and consulting in the last 10 years, there are some things I have come to agree or to believe that if any organization wants to go places, they need to master these competencies in their team. Can you see my screen? Anybody, can you just confirm that you're seeing my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. So let's start by going to the chat box. I would like you to write 5 most beautiful things about your colleague. So here's what I want to do. Go to the chat box and write the name of any colleague in your organization that you're working with, any colleague, and write the 5 most beautiful things about this your colleague. Let's go. Quick, not more than 2 minutes. Go to the chat box. Yes, I want to see messages popping now. Write the name of any colleague. If you can do more than 2, 3 people, fine. But this exercise for 2 minutes. Write 5 most beautiful things about your colleague. So I'm going to give examples in case people don't understand. Maybe the colleague is punctual. They deliver reports on time. They are always smiling. They give you encouraging words when you feel like giving up. Maybe that colleague is caring. Maybe the colleague is kind. Maybe the colleague is humble. Maybe the colleague is passionate. Maybe the colleague is a good financial manager. Maybe the colleague has high integrity. But write 5 beautiful things about any of your colleagues that you have worked with and you admire that person. And the 5 things you admire about that person, especially work-wise. Even in their personal life, because there are some things that people embody in their personal life that they always bring it into the corporate setting or to the organization like Mia. Yes, let's go. One person has said Christian. Christian is passionate, responsive, engaging, and a good marketer. Excellent. Wow. Christian is a billion-dollar professional. Yes, who else? Let's go, people. Let's go. I'm waiting for more people. Miles, I'm waiting for you to write. Apollonia, Christiane, Tasha, Nomfo Roshina. There are 24 of us here, so it should be more exciting than this. Okay, Quinta is dedicated, she's agile, and she's strong. Amazing, amazing qualities there. Thierry says that Tracy is time conscious, Tracy is resilient, Tracy is motivating, Tracy is innovative and smart. Wow, incredible qualities there. Thierry says that Maya said that Thierry is disciplined, Thierry is punctual, strict, and dedicated. Kenan says Micah is timely, effective, innovative, and collaborative. Excellent. 30 seconds to go. Let's go, people. Let's go. A team that is productive is a very active team. All right. Enoch Clavia says Thierry is humble, loyal, responsive, punctual, and disciplined. Amazing. Christian says Micah is diligent, consistent. Excellent. Thank you so much for the other exercise, but keep writing as the session goes on. So don't bother, I'll be sharing the screen back. So that exercise is very important because it is difficult to have a high-performing team whereby team members look at their fellow colleagues and they only see the negative things that that colleague represents. But there's a way that you work with somebody effectively when you have a better understanding, or you are able to celebrate the incredible or beautiful things that that employee represents. So the focus of this session is what I want to achieve with us is that we should be able to create a new team behavior with Mia and increase performance. And I'm so happy with the first session by Ambassador Merlin. I call him my president. I'm so excited with that amazing stuff because I'm just going to continue from there, but speaking team-wise. These are some things that you'll find in a team. For example, in any team, you'll find frustrations, you'll find fun, you'll find surprising attitude, you'll find negative energy, you find positive energy, you find laziness, you find hard work. You find all of these things in any team. So what I want to say here is that don't be surprised when you get up one morning and one of your team members is reacting in a very, very funny way, is reacting in a very negative way and all of that. As far as teams are made up of human beings, you will find the good, the bad, and the ugly in a team. But there is something incredible about this, that every team can be managed. Every team can be empowered. Every team you can lead any team. But it starts with the consciousness that in any team, like in the MIA team, you find all of these things in the team. Now, important fundamentals that we need to look at as far as having a high-performing team is concerned. What makes a team is what the team is working towards, the vision, the goals, the mission, the objectives, the project at hand, the task at hand, whatever that is. And the art of the work is in the choices that each team member makes as they observe the team and interact with the team. Follow this carefully. In any team, people will make the wrong choices based on how they observe the team and how they interact with the team. So my question to you is, how do you observe a team? And how are you interacting with your team? If you're having low energy in interacting with a team, you will not be a high-performing team member. And a good team is a living system of every productive organization. They spoke about productivity. Amazing. It makes the work easy. A good team is a living system of every productive organization. So a dead team cannot produce an effective organization. If you are always the staff that is always late to meetings, you're always late to submit your report, you're always late to get the task done, you're always complaining and murmuring and doing terrible things, you are a dead member in a living team. So it is your responsibility to intentionally make sure that your team is a living system because you are a living team member. So what are these competencies? Let's get to the work right now. Competencies of a high performing team. Competence number one is you need to be actively present. This is different from attendance. This is different from you saying that I was in the office. There's a difference between I was in the office and I was active. I was getting the tasks done. I was productive in the office. For any team like the MEA team to be effective, the team leader must guarantee his or her presence 100%. Absolutely. For any team. So, like for example, all the co-founders, all the managers of this organization, all the departmental heads, all the regional leaders, it is your responsibility that every single day that you wake up, you need to guarantee your team members that your presence in the team is 100%. And also the team members must guarantee that they will be actively present 100%. What does that mean? Being present is more than just showing up and more than being attendance or feeling the attendance register that you were in the office or you were at work or you were at the project site. But being present means that you are connected to the team and you are committed to the task at hand and the process at hand. Follow me carefully here. If I say that Thierry, if I say that Micah, if I say that Clover, or any of the team members say, if I say that you are actively present
Hello?
in the team.
Please, we are not seeing the
Hello?
slides. The slides.
Oh, you are not seeing, maybe,
We are seeing slide
what
2.
could be the challenge? Maybe it's internet. Okay, let me see. Okay, are you still in slide 2?
Yeah, we are seeing the slides of kind words exercise. Yeah,
Okay, what could be the
yeah.
challenge?
It's slide 10. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, you can see slide 10. Let me take next. Can you see the next slide?
Yes, it's moving on.
Okay, perfect. So we were here where I was saying that if I say that you are actively present in MEA, what I say is that you are connected to the team. It's a two-way thing, connectedness and commitment. You are connected. It means that if one of your team members calls your name in the project, you quickly respond. If they call you on the phone, they leave a WhatsApp group message and ask you to do something, you quickly respond to it. You are connected to the team and you're committed to the task. You're committed to the outcome. For example, let's say that we're having this meeting in a training hall. Picture yourself in a training hall. And we agree that after this meeting, all of us need to clean the training hall that we had this meeting. And we are 11 of us. And the 10 of us are carrying chairs, carrying tables, bringing racks, and bringing water, and just picture yourself doing something. And then one of the leaders, let me say me, I go find my corner and I'm on WhatsApp and I'm in the same hall. I'm on WhatsApp. Maybe I'm talking to Bay or to Bo, or I'm talking one useless thing with somebody. Now I am present in the hall, but I am not actively present. I am not connected in the cleaning. I am not committed in the cleaning. So you will not have a high performing team if all the members of MEA are not connected to the team, are not connected to the vision, are not connected to the organization, and most importantly, are not connected to the task at hand. So as I'm doing this training, for example, and somebody is not really looking at the screen, you're not following the training, and you're on WhatsApp or commenting on Facebook, and in your mind, or as I always say, in your church mind, you think that you're committed. You are not committed. Being committed means that you are connected to what I'm saying, you're connected to what the fellow team members are saying, you're committed to what I'm talking about, and you're even taking notes. That is being connected and committed. That produces a high performing team. So be present with what is happening and have an impact with what is happening. My question to you is, do you have an impact in MEA? When a project is done and completed, do you have an impact in MIA? And the only way you can have an impact in MIA or in a project is that you are connected to the team and you're committed to every single task that has to produce the outcome of that project. So I always like the staff to do this, what I call conscious decision for staff. Everybody should unmute their mic. Everybody, unmute your mic and let's repeat this. Everybody, if you're unmuted your mic, say done.
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 Okay, now repeat after me. Say, I will increase my ability. Let's go. I will increase my ability to be present in
I
the
will
moment.
increase my ability.
I will increase my ability to present in the moment.
In the moment and increase my responsibility to act.
Or increase my ability to defend the
Act
And
for
to
this.
increase my responsibility to act for the sake of the team's progress.
And increase
I will
my
increase my
responsibility to act for the
responsibility
sake of it.
for
I
the
increase
sake
my
of the team's progress.
presence in the moment and increase my
Okay, good. Let's mute ourselves.
For the sake of the
Mute
team's
your
progress.
mics. Okay. Mute your mic, please. Okay. Now, if you look at this is what I call conscious decision for staff, conscious decision for mere co-founders and team members. You need to intentionally make up your mind that you will increase your ability to be present in the moment. In the moment means that the task that is going on, you are present in the moment. And you're only not present, you are increasing your responsibility. You are accepting responsibility to act for the sake of the team's progress, to act for the sake of MIA's progress. Competence number 2, commitment. This competence number 2 is linked to competence number 1, commitment. Every team is made up of different personalities, emotions, ranks, responsibilities, goals, and assumptions, cultures. We are from maybe different villages, different educational backgrounds. We have different emotions, we have different goals and assumptions and all of that. But one way to manage all of these mixed personalities in a team is determined by your level of commitment to the team, your level of commitment to the vision, your level of commitment to the process, and your level of commitment to the task will determine how you manage all of these things. And commitment begins with understanding and agreement. This is very important, especially for those in leadership positions here. Regional leaders, departmental leaders, co-founders, executives. It's very important. Commitment begins with understanding and agreement. I always say that don't expect somebody to be committed to what they don't understand and what they don't agree with. I have led several corporate training sessions with companies that have 1,000 members, some have 2 team members, some have 500 team members. And I have seen a company increase productivity by 30%, increase sales up to 100 million francs, because the level of commitment to the company, to the vision, to the projects, to the sales totally changed. Because there was a difference in how team members started understanding their role in the business. And how can understanding and agreement be achieved? We need to start by addressing the basic foundation of clarifying roles. What do I mean? It means that everybody in MIA's foundation needs to intentionally clarify their roles, know their roles and responsibilities. What is my role? You will only be committed to a role, you will only be committed to a project when you know your roles and responsibilities. That is why in a normal corporate organization, one of the most important things to do is what they call onboarding session. And during your onboarding session, they hand you your job description, which carries your roles and responsibilities. So it will increase your level of commitment when you know what you're supposed to do, and most importantly, how you are supposed to do it. So my question to all of you here right now, Do you clearly know your roles and responsibilities in here? If you don't, walk up to your immediate supervisor, walk up to your immediate boss or executive and ask them, please, what are my roles and responsibilities? Clarify me this. Next is setting expectations. This is for leaders, departmental heads, and project leaders. Don't expect your team members to be committed to what they don't understand your expectations towards. What are your expectations? Let's say, for example, we're talking to a marketing team. You don't expect your marketing team to be productive when you have not given them clear expectations in numbers. In the corporate world, I always say that grammar does not run a company. It is expectations in numbers that run a company. What do I mean? What I mean is that you should be able to clearly communicate your expectations to your team members. It's very important. What do you expect from your team members? It will increase their level of commitment to that. As far as that project is concerned, what do you expect from the team members? Next is creating safety, what I call zone of safety. People are more committed when they have clear zones, when they understand what they can do and what they cannot do. For example, in my company, COSDEV Group, in one of the departments, one of my managers, there's a company policy I instituted which says that my manager has the right to carry out any expense between 1 franc and 250,000 francs. That's what the policy says. So it means that if I'm out of town, I'm not in the office, if anything happens in the office and it's between that, is within your authority to do that. That's a zone of safety. So one time she put an AC in her office, that was in December, and the AC cost 180,000 francs. I was not there, she didn't consult me. So when I came, I told her that, oh, your office looks different and it's the temperature is better than last time I came. She was like, you didn't notice something? I like, no, I didn't notice. So that I put the AC. I said, okay, fine. So she was looking at me eyeball to eyeball and expecting me to shout at her or to ask her a question. Why did you put the AC, all of that? And she said, sir, is that all? I said, yes. What do you want me to say? She said, you are not asking me a question why I use, how much I use and how much it costs. I said, no. A policy says that you have the right to incur any expense between 1 franc and 250,000 francs. So I don't need to shout at you. I don't need to query you. There's a policy backing you up. You see, that's a zone of safety, and she can make decisions on her own without me micromanaging her or following her. Now, look at Mia Foundation. Are there zones of safety? Is there something that leaders have or even team members have that they can act on their own without you micromanaging them or without immediately managing them? Next is designing relationship. It is hard for people to be committed to what they don't understand the level of relationship. That is why we did that exercise. What are the 5 most beautiful things about your colleague? That is defining relationship. That is defining your relationship. Like now, many of you already know how your fellow colleagues look at you. You know the kind of relationship is important. Good. Competence number 4, reflective observer. I know I'm fast because I need to catch up with time. I was told 30 minutes or so, if I can remember very well. Competence number 3, be a reflective observer. What do I mean? This is a very simple competence, and it's one of the most powerful competencies in any organization. What do I mean? Good team members should be observers on a mission. If you're a team member that you observe something going wrong and you only go and gossip about it, you're a bad team member. You're a negative influence. But if you're a reflective observer, it means that you observe that something is going wrong and you step up and you do something about it. You do something with what you see and what you hear. You are a reflective, active team to bring change to the organization. Don't see something going wrong and you only go and gossip about it in the quarters or gossip about it with a fellow colleague. What are you doing about it? Like, for example, you notice that one of your team members does not know how to use Excel very well. That's an observation. What will you do about it? You can say, oh, please, can you come over to my place every Saturday for 2 hours? Let me teach you how to use Excel. That is being a reflective, active team member, because you understand that if this person knows how to use Excel, they will be a productive team member for Mia organization. From today, become a reflective team member. A team needs this competence to grow. Competence number 4, system aware. The heart of every successful organization are the systems that make up that organization. What are the systems? For example, what is your recruitment system? What is your project planning system? What is your event organizing system? System means how do we do things in MIA? Every productive team is a system. It's a system of collective intelligence, not individual intelligence. Collective intelligence grow an organization more than individual intelligence. Team members must learn how to be successful in a system, in a culture. That means you know how you do things in MIA. How do you do things in MIA? How do you organize an event? How do you recruit a new team member? How do you plan for a project? How do you execute project? What do I mean? You need to have a step-by-step process of how you do things in your organization. It will make the team effective, committed, and make them to clearly always know this is my role because this is what the system says as far as the organization is concerned. An organization without systems is a dying organization. A high-performing team has an identity and a personality. There's a way that you reach out to a team, you clearly know what they represent and what they do because systems produces an identity and a personality. High-performing team holds certain beliefs and expresses certain values because systems like this produces this kind of thing. So what are the systems that makes up MIA? What are the systems that makes up MIA? And systems or culture of that team should include rules of behavior. Like for example, what are the rules of behavior in MIA? I'll give an example again. In my company, in Concept Group, there are two things that if you do, your sack letter will meet you the next 30 minutes. Number one, disunity. My team knows that the day I come and two members of a team are not talking because they're angry at each other and have gone to the extent that they are not talking, the two of you are sacked immediately with I don't care what happened. So that's a rule of behavior. Number two is credibility. The day I start questioning your credibility, the day I start not believing in you, I cannot trust your word, that day you leave the organization immediately. So they know that these two things I hold on to dearly. As I always tell them, apart from these two things, any other thing you can do, I can fast and pray for you and you change. You get the point? So these are rules of behavior. And for example, another one states in the organization that if you come late to work 4 times, the 5th time you are sacked. I don't tolerate late coming. I don't tolerate anything that is late coming. If a customer complains to you 5 times, the 6th time you are sacked. I don't permit poor behavior towards customers. So these are the examples of rules of behavior that the team knows, and consequences are very clear. Look at number 3. It talks about what is the culture of rewards and what is the culture of punishment. It's very important. Organizations get to struggle because there are no clear systems that talks about roles and responsibilities, talks about expectations, talks about beliefs, culture, level of outcomes, and rewards and punishment. Like for rewards, my guys know that anytime that there is the company records profit consistently for every quarter, there's increase in salaries. If we are profitable every quarter, there is always an increase in salaries. That's what I call the reward, the culture of reward. So they know that the system states that when this and this happen, this and this happens to you. And it happens when this happens, it makes the company or the organization to function effectively. Let me tell you, a good leader has systems in place. A good organization with a good leader has structures in place. Let me tell you, see, human beings will always get tired, but systems never go tired. Sometimes I can be out of the country or out of Douala for weeks. I'm not in Douala for the past 4 or 5 days. My company is working, functioning well. I am not there. Systems and people in place and leaders I've created in place are running the company efficiently with no headaches. So, competence number 4, MIA needs to consistently have clear systems that every member of the team, from the founder, the chief executive officer to the last person. I don't know the last role, like in my organization, finance officers or auxiliary officers are the least in the organization. Everybody knows the systems that bounce the organization. To conclude, 2 important facts that we all need to know in MIA. The team leader must have the ability to see the system and interact with the team on that level. This is very important. The founders, the co-founders, the departmental leaders, the regional leaders, you need to have that ability to see the system and interact with the team at that level. For example, anytime my manager raises an issue, the next thing I always ask is, what does the system in place say? And if it is a new issue that there's no system, there's no policy that is binding that problem, we create a new system immediately and put on file. And as it on file, when anything happens in that direction, any staff goes and picks that file and they look at, this is what the system, this is what the policy says that anybody should act when this goes wrong. This for team members now. Team members must have the ability to see the system and interact with the team on that level. These are two important things that I believe that if leaders and team members in MIA understand and function towards, is going to lead to a high-performing organization. Now, these are examples of the systems that every standard institution should have. Recruitment and onboarding system. How do you recruit new members? There should be a step-by-step process. Like we want to recruit. Step one says, publish on the newspaper or publish on Facebook, publish on the organization website. Step two, receive cover letters and CVs. Step three, sort out the competence one. Step four, call for interview. Step five, set up an interview panel and have the interview. Step six, contact the selected candidate. Step seven, have an onboarding session and training. Step eight, give them job description and send them to the various departments. Step nine, follow up corrections and give full-time contract. That is the system for recruitment and onboarding. What is the system for staff rewards? What's the system for discipline? What's the system for project planning, project execution, event planning, organization system, purchasing system? Not everybody should be buying the organization. There should be a system, there should be a purchasing system. What's the filing and administration system? What's the client, students, believers? I also coach pastors, so that's why I put believers there. What's the system for pastors, of how to onboard believers, how to onboard students, how to onboard clients? What are all the systems that are important to have? So you can look at yourself in MIA, you can even create new systems and add to what you do. Therefore, why is it important to have structured systems as far as competence number 4 is concerned? Remember, we're talking about competencies of a high-performing team. When you have a structured systems, consistent quality is easily accessed. What happens? It means that month after month, there is consistency in the delivery of quality. For example, in my organization, team leaders know that all reports must come in, financial report, marketing report, staff report must come in between the 27th and the 30th of every month. So every month between these 3 days, reports start coming in, and it is consistent because it's a system telling them that, hey, I am expecting reports to come in between the 27th and the 30th of every month. Systems eliminate bottlenecks to enhance efficiency. Yes, because it eliminates micromanaging. It leads to accountability. You know who to hold responsible. You know who to hold accountable when something goes wrong or when something goes right. Systems also provide direction and objective measures for success. To conclude, I've always said it. You cannot build an incredible organization through guesswork. You don't build an incredible organization like MIA through guesswork. It takes intentionality. It takes commitment, it takes a good team, it takes strategy, it takes tacticals, it takes the right resources, it takes being agile, it takes being innovative, it takes empowerment, it takes consistently building the team and empowering the team to be productive. Guesswork will never lead to a good execution of any project. Guesswork will never produce a good product. Guesswork will never produce an incredible organization. Guesswork will never produce an amazing career. It takes the right mindset, the right intentionality, the right skills, the right strategy to make this happen. And these 4 competencies, if practiced well, I know it can produce magical results. I have seen it in my clients, I have seen it in my own company, and I'm sharing this out of experience and the result I have seen. So I can take questions now, and thank you so much for being an amazing audience and for following. God bless you.
Thank you, Javnyuy. Thank you very much. I just want to say Is there any question for now? Please, if you have any question, you can unmute your mic and ask, as I cannot see any on the chat box. Any questions?
Can they do by raising their hands, and then you give it in an orderly manner, so we don't. So if they can indicate those who have questions, maybe they just raise. There is an icon that allows you to raise your hand. I don't know if everyone is familiar with it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to take the very first question, or I'm going to ask the very first question. But before I do that, I wish to really appreciate you, Joybert, for a wonderful presentation. Same remarks to you, Merlin. While listening to you, most of the time I was nodding, because a lot of the things I too, as a leader within the organization, I feel a certain level of responsibility. So I find those areas that I'm lacking, and those areas that, okay, we are doing quite well, and we want to maybe strengthen in those areas. So, but my very first question here really comes with the level of engagement, because the whole point comes with consistency. You've talked about intentionality. You've talked about, people being aware and us communicating. So what do you do, or how do you handle, in quotes, let's say you've done it, you've spoken to the people, for instance, you've given them the vision, you've given them the direction that they should be moving in, you're supporting, but you don't receive that feedback. So you're patient, you're going, you're there to support, you're trying to make sure that you're available, giving the team the support, and the response is not as you expect. What do you think? Should it be about maybe they're just not the right people for the organization, and then maybe you want to review how you onboard new people? What's going to be your advice to handle this? So I'm talking now from a more high level kind of observation.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very good question. And yes, I get that a lot of executives. Now, from my experience, one of the first things that sponsor that is when onboarding is wrong. Like, I've gone to organizations whereby some people recruit new people in their house. They're like, "Oh, come, let's talk about it." They talk. Like, "Okay, come and start work tomorrow." Now, when somebody start work with the wrong culture, and they're coming also with their own mindset. See, somebody said that culture eats strategy for breakfast. It's a corporate slang. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So if you bring in new people into the organization and you don't embed them with the culture and style of NIA, I tell you, because they'll come with their own expectations, they'll come with their own responsibilities, they'll come with their own mindset. And if you onboard them the right way, and low engagement is there and less commitment is there, then the second most important thing could be they don't know how to engage. They don't know how to give feedback. They don't know how to be consistent. And you cannot organize a training in that direction. But I have seen situations whereby the right onboarding is done. For example, I'm a very rugged consultant. So I went to one organization and these guys were so terrible. And so I said, "Oh, no, what? Give all of them sack letters." Everybody was sacked. Only the founder was left. And we did a fresh recruitment. And old staff were permitted to reapply. And when they reapplied, what happened? They went through a 2 days onboarding session and training. And the engagement that the old staff that were taken had and their previous engagement, the change was like 200% change. You get a point? That is why, if you look at great companies, I was an example of UBA. UBA, what they call UBA Academy. Before you get a job in UBA, they always go through their training to the academy, whereby they embed in you the UBA culture, UBA products, UBA systems, UBA style of doing things and everything. So that You don't come in with your own toxic culture, your own toxic mentality, and get things wrong. And if you do all of this, and engagement is still low, now you can do what is that's why you can do what's called one-on-one. We can get the staff down, sit them down, talk to them. Because sometimes low engagement can be caused by many things. It could be personal issues, it could be family issues, it could be issues within the company, it could be poor understanding of their role, it could be poor expectations. They don't understand your expectations as the leader or as the executive. When you sort all of this, engagement is always high.
Thank you very much.
Any other question? Please ask questions. So after this, I'll give you invoice. Mailing is there. Mailing is a mobile encyclopedia for leadership. Talk to Mailing. Ask questions now. Okay, there are no questions then. Then I can say thank you and I can sign out if that's fine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Javnyuy.
Mr. Remarkable, sir,
Yes, my
I,
brother.
I've learned so much from what you just shared. Personally, it was really inspiring. Thank you so much. I just want to add to what you are saying
Yes, sir.
that okay, if you don't have questions, maybe do you have any contribution or so that maybe they can give even one or two feedbacks. So maybe if we say questions, maybe they might not just have questions to, but maybe in a 1 minute they can.
I have my room.
I think there is Chansley who has
No.
raised her hand. Maybe Chansley, you may want to ask a question or make a contribution.
Mr. Mikasa, I can't hear you.
There
Your
is
volume is
Chansley
really low.
who has raised her hand. If she could have
Okay.
you go ahead.
Hello. Okay, thank you for giving me the floor, Mika. I just wish to ask that the talk of tax distribution, that each person in a team should know his or her own tax. But what if you join a team and in that team tax are not being distributed? Just one person carries out most of the work, and since you are just new in that team and you see it to be a problem, but due to the fact that you're new and you feel like if you say something might be there'll be an issue, what can you do about that?
Okay, very great question. Now, if that is happening, it means that the organization already has a wrong way of onboarding new staff, and that should be corrected immediately. So one of the first things that Mia needs to put into place should be something like maybe a welcome pack or anything. It must not be something that even sent through email. When somebody comes join the organization, you quickly assign them to a team, to a project, or whatever you want to do, and you can always send them this document that has roles and responsibilities. And to you that you are new, it's very important that you should also be proactive. You can reach out in a good way of communicating to your immediate supervisor and ask questions. What are my expectations? What are my roles and responsibilities? Can you help me understand my role and what I can do to be effective in the organization? Always reach out to communicate in the right way. And you can always send an email or give a call or have a one-on-one meeting, but always ask and have clear understanding of your role, because there is no way you can be a committed staff when you don't understand your roles, your responsibilities, and what is expected of you from as far as the organization is concerned.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Colonel Ngasa, my famous ambassador, and Mr. Javnyuy, Dr. Say Christian, one of the MI co-founders. I would really like to appreciate your presence, and Engineer Mika, thank you too very much for such a wonderful initiative. I really love the idea. I've learned so much. I'm just so quiet because there is still much I have to do to actually put this in my system, because I think I've learned a lot, and there is much work to be done sincerely in MIA still in order to align to such these great expectations of the teaching of today. And I will not stay really quiet. I'll first of all thank you guys, and sincerely, I hope to have such another session like this, especially with the team leaders and decision makers of MIA. That is another close circle where we can actually be taught again deeper, so that we can actually begin now to transfer by example. So for those who really be willing to join the new circle of those who want to actually learn again, I think it's another meeting I'm proposing that we should get again. I'm really so excited to have another session like this, because sincerely I've really learned so much. So thank you guys for this initiative.
Thank you so much, Dr. Christian, for your kind remarks. Thank you, sir.
We have Steve, Berku Steve, who has raised his hand. Steve, you probably have a question.
Thank you, Mika. But I think Emmanuel raised his hand before me. I think he just presented in alphabetical order. So.
Oh, okay, that's true. Thank you, Emmanuel. Would you have the floor?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I've been following through the program, even though the network is really a little bit problematic this evening. I wish to really thank the presenter so much for the wonderful presentation that they have done this evening. It has really impacted us a lot.
It appears the network issue has finally caught up with Emmanuel.
I think Falco has his hand up.
Can I go on, because it seems he has some network issues?
Okay, you can go on.
Okay. Thanks very much. In fact, I don't know what I'm going to say, because thanks to Edwin for accepting my invitation to join, because actually the circle, it's not really where I belong to see as of now. And I would like to greet again Dr. Say Christian, with whom I've not spoken for a while. Merlin, happy to hear from you and always learn from you, and Joybert. So I have two questions directed to Merlin and Joybert. To Merlin, I want to ask, how do you assess your level of productivity as a leader? What are the indicators to actually tell yourself that you are productive? What can you put in place? Is it a time factor, or maybe you can maybe enlighten me on that? And Mr. Joybert, if you spoke a lot about the leader himself, and that we should put systems. But how then do we measure the systems to know the system is failing, in case the system might be failing? what exactly or how do you actually measure an efficiency of the system per se? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Steph. It's been long and happy to hear from you. And I want to also personally also congratulate and say hi to Dr. Christian, the visionary leader, the entrepreneur, and I'll come to your question on Dr. Steph. Dr. Christian is one of the people that when I hear him speak, I know that there are people who are really having a heart for the continent and who want that Cameroon should also be an inspiration to other African countries. I really want to commend and congratulate you, Dr. Christian, for all your work that you're doing, and not also leaving out Engineer Mika Edwin for having particular interest in ensuring that the MIA staffs and the MIA leaders should be developed in a more strategic way to meet the objectives. And each time I got to hear from my brother, Mr. Remarkable, Mr. Joybert, I know that there is hope in our generation. Thank you so much, Mr. Joybert, sir, for your wonderful, explicit, detailed, impactful session. Okay, Dr. Steph, over to you. That how can one measure his productivity as a leader? Practically, there are different approach to that answer, but the very most common approach to how can you measure or evaluate your productivity as a leader is the the achievement of your desired objective. It means that, like I said, that as a leader, if you want to become productive, you must identify those areas in which you want to become more productive at. And once your goal, your objective are met, maybe not directly, but in a particular amount, so you can really take your objectives, your goals, your vision to measure your productivity as a leader. So your goals, your objective, what you have set out to do is one of the ways that you can use to measure your objective. But I want to also add this, is that the fact that you may not have achieved your goals completely does not mean that you are not making progress. Let me say this. Now, MIA is having this training meeting, and it might not necessarily be that MIA is having a meeting with all the students, but sometimes your investment in some kind of particular training, it might not show in the beginning, but in the end, it might tend to be more productive. It might tend to show off. What do I mean by that? I mean that there are some things that you may be involved in that for the time being, you might not see the productivity, of which you can use it to evaluate that maybe you are failing, you are not producing results. Like you heard Mr. Remarkable, he has been doing this for over 10 years. So it's not really like something that maybe in the first year or in the second year or in the third year, he may not be functioning at the level that he wants to, or the level that he's functioning now, or the level that he had always desired to function. But it does not mean he was not productive in those years. So I'm answering it from a two-way perspective. I said the first way, that is very easy from the general perspective of you looking at your goals, your objectives, and your targets to measure your productivity. And also, I'm trying to say that sometimes the physical result or the immediate result or the immediate productivity may not be there, but it does not mean you are failing. And I would like to just wrap it up to say that the fact that others are succeeding does not mean you are failing. So I pray that I have given some enlightenment in your question, and I'm going to hand over to my brother, Mr. Remarkable. I'm sure maybe he has some light to also share concerning that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Um, yes, I think you have already said so much. Let me just go straight to the systems. How do you know that systems are failing, right? Now, um, sometimes my friends always say that I'm a corporate prophet. Like I look at a company and say, we'll die in 2 years if they don't do this and do that. Now, when you have a good system, when the systems start failing, it's very easy for you to notice because systems will start fighting. And one thing for you to notice is that when systems start failing, it is your organization that starts failing. For example, if your marketing systems are failing, your sales will start dropping immediately. Or let me say, for example, if the system that Mia used to recruit students for their programs are failing, the number of students that are joining your program will start reducing immediately. And of course, one of the easiest way to know that systems are failing is in poor results, in numbers. And the best way to measure whether systems are working or not is in numbers. That's why I said earlier that grammar does not run a business or a company or an organization. It is systems and numbers that run a successful organization. So if you are recruitment systems for recruiting new young people to come and attend your orientation program for scholarship, if you do that and you have only 2 students, it means there is something wrong with their recruitment systems. And if you start digging deep, you will notice that maybe the people recruiting are not using the right promotional systems or don't have the right skills to recruit. You see a lot of moving parts that you need to correct. And that's why it's good to have systems and not do things out of guesswork. It becomes very easy to detect when your organization is failing and dying out. Many organizations have failed not because they have the wrong product or the wrong services or the wrong vision, but because they didn't have systems. And when it started failing, there was nothing to detect that the organization is failing or going out of business. So the first step is to make sure that you have established working systems, and most importantly, the team have been educated. The team has been educated to know how the system works. So if you create a system and it's only in your head as a manager, as a leader, it's not a system. A system that is not on paper, that another person can look at it and execute the system, is not a system. So you think about it, you brainstorm on it, you write it down, and you teach the team. This is what the recruitment system for new students who will go through our orientation program looks like. The system states this and this and this and this. And to check the systems that is failing, check the numbers. As Melin said, check the objectives. You are going, let's say you guys want to launch the project, the MIA orientation project next month. The best way to check whether the orientation system is working is to start with clear objectives. How many students do you want to recruit for the orientation program? How do you want to do this? Very clear numbers, and put the systems, and then you get to work.